Hello everybody, it's Cyan the Tortat here, back at you with another furry video. I wanted to do a video about con stories since I did the video about like Con 101. I mentioned that there are a lot of funny things that happened to Citron and I. So this year we went to Furrydelphia 2019. It was our second furry convention. Like, it's the second time we've been to Furrydelphia, but it's also our second furry convention overall. This year was a lot. Okay, so the first story I will tell is about Cyan. So this year, Cyan I finally got a full suit for Cyan at the same time. I will put a picture over here. She looked great. Citron did such a good job. If you love my Cyan suit, Citron made it. Her fursuit making handle is Slight Slaw Suits at Twitter. On Twitter, I will have a link in the description, and I will put the text up on the screen as well. So the thing about Cyan, though, is that she was a rush order. Citron had to go on a trip, like 2 weeks before Furrydelphia. For a long time, we'd been struggling to get... My job was to get the supplies for Cyan, just to get whatever Citron needed. I had been struggling to get the money for the supplies. I had no money personally, so I basically had to, like, pester my parents and do things for them to get the stuff. And that took a lot longer than necessary. We had the entire summer before this point to get it, so that was on me. I ended up ordering the rest of the supplies that I needed, or that Citron needed, the week that she was away on this trip that was 2 weeks before Furrydelphia. And she was like, I still want to make the suit, so when I come back, I'm just going to make the rest of the suit. So the Sunday she got back, she started on the suit. And boy, oh boy, was everything trying to go wrong. Oof. Okay, so, like, Citron did actually end up making the suit in about a week, which is very impressive. I already had the head for Cyan. The head had been made, I think, last year. I don't know. But the head was already made, so I just needed the bodysuit, the tail, the hand paws, and the feet paws. So yeah, she was making the suit. She pulled several late nights, a couple all-nighters. It was a lot. She had finished the bodysuit and the tail by the time we actually left for Furrydelphia. And right before we left, her sewing machine had a malfunction where she lost the needle and it like flung itself across the room. So she still hadn't finished the hand paws or the feet paws. So she was determined to sew them by hand. First day of Furrydelphia, when we weren't doing stuff, she was just in the room freaking sewing things. She finished the feet paws on Friday. There were a couple issues with the feet paws. She couldn't applique the paw pads because she didn't have the sewing machine, so they didn't have paw pads. And there were a couple malfunctions on the paws because she'd never made indoor paws before. It still turned out great, and I was very happy with the suit. She didn't like it. I thought it was fine. Literally everyone else thought it was fine. She finished the hand paws early Saturday, I think. So there's another story that's tied in with that, which is really funny. So Citron, when we got to Furrydelphia, she had pulled an all-nighter on Friday to get the stuff done by Saturday. So I can't remember whether this was mid-Friday or early Saturday, but I had gone somewhere, like to a panel or something. Oh, I went to the How to Run a Con panel, and I was like, okay, I was going to go to another panel after that, but I was really tired and my social battery was very low, so I was like, I'll just go back to the room real quick, see how Citron's doing. So I head back up to the room, I put my room key in there, the door unlocks, I try to open it, but it will not open all the way, because the little, like, flip lock thing that keeps the door from opening all the way if you don't want people to come in, that was engaged. So I'm like, okay, well, Citron is still here, so she should be able to open the door if I like take the little latch off so I can get inside. Keep in mind, I'm very, very tired. I do not want to have more interactions with people. I just want to sleep or rest until the next time when I want to go out. So I bang on the door. I'm like, hey, Citron, are you in there? Because I thought she had her headphones on, because I remember she worked a lot in the room late at night with her headphones on. So I'm like, maybe she can't hear me. So I banged on the door. I shouted as loud as I could. I was like, okay, well, maybe she can't hear me because of the headphones. So I ended up calling her like 7 times, and she didn't pick up. So I was like, okay, at this point, I know she's in there because you can't engage the lock without being in the room. So she's obviously asleep. So I kept knocking, I kept banging on the door, I kept calling. One of the maintenance ladies was like, what's going on? Are you okay? And I was like, I can't get in the room. I have my room key, but the little latch thing is engaged. So she directed me down to the front desk. So I went down to the front desk and I was like, hey, I have my room key and the door opens. I just can't get it all the way open because the latch is engaged. So the lady asks for my room number. She sends me back upstairs. Security comes while I'm waiting there. Thank the freaking Lord that I had the little purse that has my ID in it. If I had left that in the room with her, I would have been freaking screwed. But they're like, okay, well, which one of the room occupants are you? And I was like, I'm XY. They're like, okay, well, do you have ID? And I was like, yes, I do. I pulled out my ID, verified my identity. And they're like, okay, we're going to call engineering. And I'm like, oh my good Lord, no. Okay. So I was like, okay, thankfully it really didn't take that long for engineering to get up here. I had jokingly been like, man, I'm going to kill her when I get in there. She shouldn't have left the latch on if she knew she was going to fall asleep. And the security was like laughing with me. So the engineer guy comes, he uses the tool to get the latch off so I can enter the house, or the room. So we open the door and right down, like straight back, you see Citron slumped over in a chair holding the end of my suit. And obviously I know Citron. I know that she just fell asleep. When she's really tired, she just like corpse sleeps. She's out for reals. So I'm like, okay, she fell asleep sewing. But the security guards are like concerned, especially since I just made a joke about freaking killing her like an idiot. So they're like, hey, can you check and see if she's all right? And I'm just getting mad because I'm like, first of all, I didn't kill her. I didn't do anything. She's not dead. And I'm like already grumpy because I had to wait and I'm tired. So I walk in because I'm like, I don't want these people to think that I like hurt her. I would never hurt her. Which is funny because I walked to her bed. I grabbed a pillow and I threw it at her and I was like, she's fine! It hits her and she wakes right up. And she's probably in the middle of a dream, so she starts like babbling and making incoherent noises, and it looks like she's having a seizure. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this could not get any worse for me right now. I know Citron, she does that when you wake her up suddenly because she's like partially still in dream world. But I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, Citron, you gotta calm down. It's okay. You're not in the dream anymore. You're fine. She's like, oh, hey, what's up? And I was like, oh my gosh. And the security guard was like, hey, are you all right in there? And she's like, oh yeah, I'm fine. And then they leave. And I was like, Citron, please, new rule. If one of us is not in the room, we're not engaging the latch ever again. Also, I'd messaged her on Discord like a bunch of times, so she started reading those messages and it was funny. But yeah, shout out to Citron. She finished my suit early. That must have been Friday then. She finished my suit early Saturday so I could go suiting. What other funny stories were there? We actually ended up missing closing ceremonies. I was, like I mentioned in a previous video, I vended on Saturday, and after the vending, I was very, very tired, and I was very, very hungry. So I'm like, okay, if we quickly go and get food and come back, we should be able to make it for closing. We did not make it for closing. We couldn't find my keys, I think, so that kind of took time. We couldn't find the car. I think that time we couldn't find where we parked the car, and that took a long time. Also, the place where we decided to go was like 15 minutes away. So that's like 15 minutes there, 15 minutes back. So we didn't make it. I was trying to eat in the car and ended up spitting food everywhere. And that really, because I started laughing because Citron wanted to leave, but I was really hungry. So that was hilarious. She's still mad about that to this day. I'm sad we missed closing ceremonies because I from what I've seen, it was really, really cool. And I just wanted to like actually suit again more before closing ceremonies and go to closing ceremonies and suit, but I didn't get a chance to do that. So yeah, I won't be conducting. If I need to go to get food, I won't go 15 minutes away. I'm just kind of picky about food sometimes. Yeah, so not a lot of other things happened. I know I went to Citron enter the dance comp as T-Bone. She did pretty well. I had a lot of really cute interactions with other suitors. People really like Cyan, and that was really cool. Just like being able to walk around as Cyan and have people be like, oh, pictures, oh, videos. I know a couple of people got videos of me dancing at the Saturday night dance. If you have those, I would love to see those. Yeah, I had a great time. Also, the hotel goofed, and it's partially my fault. The card I checked in with was not the same card that booked the hotel room. I told them that, but they ended up not fixing it, so there had to be a lot of corresponding between me, my mother, and the hotel, because she'd gotten the room for us. So there was a lot of issues with that, a lot of issues with like my card funds and stuff, because they started charging me, and I didn't have enough money on my card. So I'm like, yikes. So there's a lot of issues with that. But like the con itself actually was fine. A lot of the crazy stories we had were just things that Citron and I ended up doing at the con, not the fault of the con at all. I had a great time, and I would really love to come back next year if possible. I don't think I have enough money to go to both Furrydelphia and Anthrocon, but we'll see. I'm gonna try to save up. Citron's gonna try to save up, see if we can go to both. Yeah, I really enjoyed the con. I had a freaking great time. I can't wait till the sign refurb. We're gonna have to try to have that done before Anthrocon. She's gonna have indoor paws with paw pads, floor dragger tail. The head might get refurbed. I know we purchased a new nose for Cyan and some new whiskers. Hopefully my hand paws also, since Citron didn't bring the extra fabric with her and she was sewing all this by hand, my hand paws are too short. So I had to wear the wristbands that they gave us around my hand paws to keep them on my wrists. And boy, did they freaking get sweaty. They got so sweaty, like sweatier than any other part of my suit, and it was the worst. I had to go to the headless lounge and just put my hand paws on the little air conditioning tree because they were just so sweaty, like sweatier than my head or my bodysuit. I also had to stuff, since we didn't have time to make pouches for the polyfill, I basically, for my haunches and my hackles, I had to put clothes in polyfill. I had to put polyfill. No, I think for my haunches, I put polyfill in pillowcases and stuffed it in there, and that held pretty well. The problem child was my haunches. I ended up stuffing clothing into pillowcases and stuffing it in my haunches, but it would slip around and just fall out all the time, so I constantly had to adjust my haunches. It was the worst, and my tail kept flipping around as well. We were definitely rolling Ghetto Fabulous up in there. That was, but like considering how much time Citron had and the fact that everything still looks really good is fantastic. Like I was so happy with Cyan, and I'm so thankful that Citron was willing to like practically kill herself doing all that work in a week and pulling all-nighters. So also, we had a really funny interaction when we went to go get food. There were other furries at the place where we went to go get food, and the employees were like, so you guys going to a convention? Is it like Comic-Con? You're wearing the same merch? Because we'd all gotten the same Citron had I forget what the person's name is. I'm so sorry to this artist. Your art is great though. I gotten a lanyard with a bunch of cats on it, like a bunch of big cats and stuff. Citron had gotten a shirt from the same person with a bunch of dinos, a bunch of raptors on it, and then the other two people who were there also had similar merchandise from the same person. So the cashier noticed, and they were like, oh, you going to Comic-Con or something? You're at a convention? And Citron and I are like, oh no, it's not Comic-Con, we're at Furrydelphia. And they're like, Furrydelphia? I don't think they knew what furries were, so I don't think that reaction was out of disgust. I think they were just confused because they didn't know what the frick Furrydelphia even was. Yeah, and we kind of had to like explain to them what it was, and that was a little awkward, but they seemed pretty receptive. So, you know, that was also a really funny interaction that we had at the convention. Also, the funniest things that were happening at the convention, people correctly recognized Cyan as based off of a cat, like that was correct, but they'd be like, so what is she though? Because like obviously she has like giant pointy claws and a weird chest plate, like that's not a full cat. So me just trying to explain that it's like, oh well, she's a cat hybrid basically, without like getting too into it. That was pretty funny too. I remember the first time I wore Cyan's head in public, people were like, what animal is that? Is that a fox? And I'm like, this doesn't look like a fox, dude. In what universe does this feline look like a fox? But I think it was just because I was around normies, because every furry that I had encountered correctly recognized Cyan as some sort of feline, which was nice, because like she obviously looks like a feline. That's just ridiculous. She's a calico based or tortoiseshell and white based feline. That's obvious. Yeah, I had a lot of really cute interactions with young furs, like them complimenting me on my suit or wanting to take pictures, wanting to draw my persona. I also had a really cute interaction with some young furs that had stacked their heads on top of each other on a chair, and I came by and they're like, hey, can we get a picture of you booping one of their snoots? And I was like, frick yeah, I can. So I did that. They gave me a lollipop, and it was an orange lollipop that was the same color as my fur, and I freaking lost it because I can't hold anything while I'm wearing my hand paws. I tried to put it in my mouth because there's extra room in my mouth for my muzzle, but I must have like turned my head and like flung it somewhere because I couldn't find it again, and that sucks, which is really why I need a handler next time we go. Yeah, I know some young furs came up to me while we were at the Saturday night dance party, and one of them gave me a Fuzzy Logic coin. It was very cute. It was very cute. Young furs are adorable. I thought I didn't like kids, but I think I just don't know what to talk about when I talk to kids. So kids that are furries that we already have something to talk about, I think that just makes it easier for me to interact with them. But yeah, that was really cute. People complimenting Sit's suit making was also really great because she's talented. Yeah, so I guess that's my video about Furrydelphia con stories. If you guys have any funny con stories that you'd like to tell, feel free to drop those in the comments. Yeah, if there's anything else, any content that you would like to see from me, this is the last video that I had like pre-planned, so I don't really have any ideas for more videos right now, but I would love to make more videos. Then please let me know. Also, feel free to follow my social media. I'm primarily an artist, actually. This whole fursuiting furry thing is new to me, but I like making content with Cyan Suit, so that's what I'm doing. I'll have it in the end card. There'll also be links in the description, so go check me out. I'll see you in the next video. Have a perfect day.